welcome back to Faith, Family, and Fun Reviews. If you're new here on this channel, I share with you delightful, family-friendly, and faith-based movies and television shows. So yes, y'all, as y'all can tell, we are back with the movie chat. Happy Saturday, and let me go ahead and correct this right now because y'all probably be thinking, what are we doing seeing you on the weekend when you just said in your last video that you was not going to be doing all this posting, okay? You was going to stick to 3 days out of the week. Well, I'm back, y'all. I'm back for real, okay? Not worried about none of that other outside stuff, whatever, okay? We here for the Lord, and we just gonna continue to do this. For those of you out there who just need something clean, family, fun, faith, all that good stuff. You ain't trying to be in all of that what everybody else got going on. So yes, I have to. I just have to. I gotta work hard. I gotta put more out there because there are people out there who are looking for this kind of stuff. Might not be you, but that's okay. Maybe one day it will be. But for now, we're doing it for that, all right? That reason alone. We just need more good stuff out there. A lot of the yucky stuff is out there so much where it's just like you're more likely to come across that. So for those few creators out there who are doing, you know, what the Lord called them to do, trying to put out good stuff, we have to be on it, all right? We just have to be that way. It's just got to be that way. Anyways, yes, we're going to do a movie chat because the film that we're going to be doing it on is Steps of Faith. I have reviewed that film many months ago, and y'all know right now we are in the middle of doing reviews for her daughter, Hope's journey. So I just thought it was only like, it just seemed appropriate to just make sure y'all all have that backstory, her parents here, because that's who we're going to be talking about. And while I was in the movie chat, well, not movie chat, but like the review, our series review with Steps of Faith, Hope's journey, I started to think about Marshall and Faith. I was like, I miss Marshall and Faith. It was just so much stuff that just that film just gave, and I'm just like, I have to talk about it, but I couldn't talk about it on Hope's journey. That's her story. It's like, okay, let her have her own thing, all right? Talk about my mom and my dad on another thing. I got you, Hope, okay? So that's why we're talking about her parents today, all right? So to refresh, just a little mini refresher course here. What is Steps of Faith about? I'm finna tell y'all right now. Mocked by her family for following a directive from God to work on a hypnotherapy form for children, Faith questions the message she received when a child is nearly injured in the work. Is nearly injured in the work, including the horse manure shoveling, is overwhelming. And y'all know, if you're like a city person, like Faith is here, or just a person just kind of a little bit privileged, you know, a little bit, I don't know. I just feel like the movie didn't really shine a lot of light on that, but I feel like her mom and dad, because they are the church, you know, I just feel like they had that, you know, with the rod and all that kind of stuff, making sure she on point, her sister. But I still feel like they probably, you know, treated their girls like princesses, catered to them and all of that. They don't really know about some real hard work. And that's what Faith had to deal with in this film, on this journey God was taking her on. She had to deal with some real labor. She was just disgusted by it. Couldn't even stand the smell and all that kind of stuff. But anyways, let's go from the beginning, right? Okay. At the beginning of this film, you can see Faith kind of like, I guess, dealing with the children's ministry. And she had like a little bit going on with these kids. These kids was just running her wild and crazy, okay? It was very apparent and clear here at the beginning of this film that that was not Faith's ministry, dealing with children. But nevertheless, that's how we find out what we're supposed to do, right? I mean, go ahead. It's never going to be wasted time by volunteering at your local church, you know, just doing some things. If you're not sure what your purpose is, like her at the beginning of this film, it makes sense to go ahead and volunteer where you can volunteer and allow God to use you wherever, and then you will know. I feel like you will know, he'll reveal it to you somehow where you're supposed to be exactly. But as we can see at the beginning of this film, this was not where Faith was supposed to be, okay? They were just laughing at her how she was dealing with a kid. I think she even sat on him or something, trying to just get a little bit control, you know, over the room here. But yes, it was very clear that was just not her thing. And her parents know that Faith is not the type of person that would, what you would call, I guess that they would trust that if she say, hey, I heard from God, they would question that, like literally would question her every which way, because Faith is this type of person that would show up to church for, you know, those major holidays, Easter, Christmas, all that kind of stuff. But she is not in there, you know, Monday through Friday and singing in the choir and all these, and on attending prayer meetings, all that kind of stuff. And it's very unfortunate, y'all, that people tend to judge you by that. A lot of church people tend to judge people by that, depending on your attendance at church, your tithing, and what you volunteer in, and who you belong to, like what family you're a part of, and all these different outer things. People tend to judge a person by, instead of really looking at the fruit of that person, getting to know that person, and really see is, you know, are you really of God? And so I just felt Faith here, and when she gets, okay, for whatever reason, you know, she hears from God, she believes in her heart that she heard from God, that God is telling her to leave all that she knows, her family and different things, and go to this other place, to this farm that she has no idea about, that she doesn't even really know exists in a sense. And of course that gonna put us in the mind of a story, a particular story in the Bible, y'all know. So let me first say that too, this is what I really enjoy about this film, is because it's like so many different like jewels throughout this film that will put you in the mind of scripture, that will also like help you in whatever you're going through with your journey, because that's so many people's thing, you know, how can they hear from God? Are you really hearing from God? All that kind of stuff. A lot of people question that. These are those major questions that people just want to know. And it's like everybody's story is different. You can't really compare yourself to somebody else and all of this stuff. And so you just kind of just have to walk by faith. So it made sense here, you know. And then I just thought that was so cool how her name is Faith, and you got Steps of Faith. The form is called Steps of Faith. So it's just so many different things you can tell that obviously went into this film. The director and writer really knew what they were doing. They really had a purpose here, and they were really taking us on a journey. And I felt like we were really going on a journey with Faith here. So that was very, very exciting. Right off the bat, like I said, when you see the little incident that she had with the kid, number one, you already thinking, girl, that's not your ministry. You just need to leave that alone. Get up out of there, okay? You ain't got no business around nobody's kids, all right, Faith? None whatsoever, all right? So we already got that. But also, I felt like Faith is likable. Like, seriously, she was like down to earth and real. Yes, she was brought up in a church-going family. Her family is very involved. Her parents is very involved in the church and different things like that. Her sister, right up in there with everybody else as well, but she's likable. They didn't make her like where she's flawless, where you would feel like as the viewer, oh, another person I can't compare myself to, another person I just can't relate to, I don't understand, because you may not have been brought up in a household with a mom and a daddy, okay? That's not everybody's story. That's not everybody's story, that you're brought up in a place where it's easy for your parents to pay the bills. Here we can see that her parents are kind of like at least middle class. I mean, they ain't hurting for money. They are able to put food on the table, raising their two girls. So I love here that they made them very down to earth. Yeah, they not like in the ghetto and all of that. Who needs a real struggle story? I mean, there's enough films out there already putting us in the ghetto and we struggling and can't get, and we don't know where the next where our next paycheck gonna come from and all that kind of stuff. We got enough of that. So I like that they made them very, like I said, hometown, in the middle class bracket, but at the same time, the daughters, like, and the main focus here is Faith, character Faith, she is not like uppity, churchy, feels like she's better than somebody else, dressed in a certain way where a person would say it's the best way, where you got the long dresses, long flowery dresses, stockings and all that kind of stuff, and just looking the part, what you know, what most people would say is the right way to be, so you can say, okay, this is a church girl or whatever. So I like that she isn't like that. She has her own style, her own little flavor, but at the same time she is very like, oh, we can relate to her. Urban girls, you can relate to her, okay? All right, we can. So no, I know I went through all of that to say that, okay, she's relatable, but she's also likable. She speaks her mind. The fact that you could, for a person, y'all, especially in this day and age, for a person to step out and say they heard from God, y'all gotta think about that. And I know that as much as because we in this social media world, you have so many different channels that focus on God, or Bible studies, or all the worship groups, or whatever, all of this stuff. And it may seem like, well, it's everywhere, so it don't really seem like it's a big deal if somebody name the name of Christ or whatever. Yeah, you see all of that, but that's all of that is just outer stuff. That's just appearance stuff. But who do you really know? Think about that. Who do you really know that would step up to you and say, I heard from God, and not only I heard from God, but I'm about to move on what I heard? That's a whole nother bracket, y'all, and y'all know that we ain't even gotta front about that. That is something different. That is special. That is something you do not come across. Y'all look at y'all friend circle, look at your family circle, and all that kind of stuff. Who is really telling you with boldness, okay, that they heard something from God and they about to act on that thing, they about to walk it out, okay? And you may be just like Faith's parents here in this film. You might be one of them people who's gonna be somebody's stumbling block, okay? When somebody tell you they heard from God, are you gonna really support that, or are you gonna be questioning them about it? Did you really hear from him? Like, what you mean? Did you hear audio voice? Like, what you saying? What you saying? And you be the main one of the in church and all this kind of stuff, and make like, okay, I believe in Jesus, I believe in God, and all this kind of stuff. But when soon as you put on the spot to really do something about it, what you doing? What you gonna do? What you gonna do? And so I just love that this character Faith does challenge us as the viewers in that way. I mean, if you have a relationship with God, that's something you working on. Y'all hold up for a minute. I'm checking on my cat. Okay, trying to see if she acting right. All right, she good. But who's gonna really do that? And so I love that for Faith to hear, to number one, to be convinced that you heard from God. In this day and age, it is so challenging, and it shouldn't be. It really shouldn't. When we look at the Bible and those biblical stories, those people didn't think twice. They were convinced when they heard from God. And even if they weren't convinced, it's still, they had enough support, because you had the prophets and all these other voices that lined up with the word of God, that you could see, that you could touch, that you could feel. So you can, kind of get more confirmation, or feel forgive me, y'all, or feel like sure of what you heard, because that's how it was back then. But nowadays, we don't live in a time like that. We don't live in a time where you hear people say that, and you hear people like really walking out that journey. Most people are following other voices, following their own voice, and God is like the last person, and it's the last person they gonna hear from. Like, seriously, people ain't even forgive me, y'all, people ain't even really trying, ain't even looking to hear what he got to say about something. They first going to YouTube, social media, somebody else's, and try to see what's going on in that arena first, or they gonna do what they want to do. And only if they get into some stuff that is like literally no way out of this, then maybe God will come to mind at that point. Maybe. But then in that situation, ain't no guarantee that they'll feel like they even heard from him at that time. Anyway, but that's usually how most people move nowadays. So this was very encouraging. It was out of the ordinary for Faith to hear from God. And I love that this film kind of, like I said, it walks us through that. Kind of give you an idea, okay, if you on your journey, what would be some steps that you could take? Hence, steps of faith, right? And so, like, when Faith did felt like she heard from God, she sought confirmation from him. She didn't like really was seeking other people like that, in a sense, for them to tell her something. Although she was open to hear what other people had to say about it, like her parents or people she knew, at the end of the day, she was more going by that spirit inside of her, Holy Spirit. Am I, really hearing from God here? And when she got that confirmation, that was it for Faith, okay? She was like packing up her stuff, gave her apartment to her sister, sublet her apartment to her sister, and she was out of there. And her sister, I can tell, like, really, like, was like moved by this. This was exciting. This was amazing, but in a sense, it was scary. It's a scary place to move and do something and not knowing what's on the other side of that thing. For all you know, you might have not heard from him. You might be going somewhere you ain't got no minutes going. But I do feel like if you're gonna be moving like that and you really feel like you're convinced, like Faith did in this film, I do believe, even if you were wrong, that God is going to show up. He's gonna help you along the way, because your intentions were in the right place. I personally believe that. So it was right there with Faith. So when Faith go to this forum, y'all, and you would think in her mind, well, I know what she was thinking in her mind, like, it's all gonna work out. I'm following God. I'm here. You know, this is good. This is here. This forum, it really exists. You know, she got a pastor there that she's gonna be going to church there. It's good. We're in a good place. Whew. We're in a good place. I know she felt like she could breathe then, but when showing up at that forum and telling the operator over the forum, Belle, here she meets Belle, and Belle is not too welcoming, but Belle is a straight shooter, y'all. She really is. Like, you know what you're gonna get from Belle. Like, she is not gonna beat around the bush. She is not gonna say something in your face and then behind your back saying something else. No, Belle is like, she gonna tell you how it is. Okay, what you mean you showing up? What you mean God told you to come here? But you're supposed to be here. You're supposed to be working here. What you mean? What you mean? What they got to do with me? We ain't got no positions like that. We ain't got no positions like that, honey. And so, and I just love the realness of Belle, which makes her character even more like, just like cool. Like, I feel like I can talk to Belle, even though she a little bit rough around the edges. I still feel like at the end of the day, she got a good heart, just for the fact that she real. You can work with that. You can work with that, y'all. And so I'm just to put myself in Belle position. Okay, this looks really crazy. You know, I'm owning my own business, right? And somebody show up at my business talking about some God spoke to them to come here. They supposed to be here. And if you ain't on that journey like that, that's gonna be like, okay, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with that. What I'm supposed to do with this, all right? So I get that in. And then I get faith in the fact that you are sure, you like totally convinced that this is where you're supposed to be. God have led you here. But at the same time, and you just pouring out your heart. You just telling this person that, number one, I'll be feeling like a little embarrassed, just a little bit. But I know my reason for doing this. I know God with me. I know I'm supposed to be here, but at the same time, I do feel a little embarrassed because look how you looking at me. Okay, I gotta be all that. I'm just telling you what God said to me. But yeah, it was so cool. But at this moment, so you would have think like that's how I would have showed up. Like, okay, it's gonna work. Okay, she gonna hire me right away. All this kind of stuff. But tell me you ain't got no positions. All this kind, and I gotta leave and all of this, and I left. I don't know how many times Faith came back to that forum. You know, trying to talk to Belle, trying to work on this forum. And I know she was just like, she ain't never seen nobody so eager to work in this place, smelling this stank stuff. And all it is, it's something different about it. It's something. I'm keeping my eye on her. That was the vibe that I got from Belle. But let me tell y'all, when she meet Marshall, okay, I didn't even really mention this, y'all. Like, I don't think I really, like, mentioned, even when I did a review, I don't think I really like dived in. Well, I really didn't, because it was like I try to keep reviews short, y'all know, in and out. So here's the thing about Marshall. I just feel like Marshall forgive me, y'all, hey, you slick, like for real, you really is. Because let me tell y'all, you short. Okay, the first person, I knew I skipped past this. Okay, she met Belle second. She met Marshall first. Marshall was the one she, you know, happened to be there and she met first. And Marshall don't seem like nobody, like just a person that probably worked there, but nothing really. Like, he never let on. Pretty much the whole time that he was over Belle, like literally, that was his place. That was his farm. And Belle kind of worked for him. Like, he never let on any of these things. And I was like, that's pretty cool, because sometimes you can't let people know what you got. You know, what you're a part of, because you may not get people being sincere with you, especially when it's on that level, like male, female, that type of deal, some kind of attraction there. Like, sometimes people will be after you for a certain thing, but when you like Marshall played it so cool. Like, he didn't have nothing. Like, he just worked this little job on farm, shoveling manure. Like, what kind of person would really want to be with a person like that? If that's your little job, you're probably making like minimum wage or something like that. I'm just telling you, like, most people would think. Not that I would think that, but I'm saying like most people would think, okay? And so I love that he kept that from Faith pretty much the entire film. That just added to the moment when they really did connect, because it just showed that they were both sincere. They were both really authentic and real, and that they both deserved each other, because they wasn't after something that was just vain, okay? Whether it was money, position, power, whatever, that was never none of their goals. That was never their story. So that's why I just love their story. But you can tell, like, Marsha was attracted to that. I mean, people say, okay, the first thing when you attract to somebody, how they look or whatever, that's what you see first. But the fact that I felt like he was more attracted to her faith than anything, because he never came across a woman like that is following God's instruction. That's why she's here. Like, she believes she heard from God, and that's why she ended up on your farm. And you a single guy, never met anyone like that. I'm sure you probably dated here and there, because he's not, you know, some ugly person, all right? He is somewhat attractive, so I know people, you know, had dates here and there. But you meet this girl, and that's why she's here. And y'all very first outing together, y'all go to church. You know, I'm just like, you know, that just hit him in a powerful way. Like, he's like, this is something different. We ain't at no club. You ain't into all of that. You dress modest. You work hard. She obviously is not used to hard work with hard labor, but she put her all into this job, y'all, when she finally did get on at Steps of Faith, because Marsha did help her get in the dough, and she worked her butt off. Even when there was moments when she wanted to quit, y'all, and Marshall helped her along the way. He would just kind of pick up a little slack here and there, try to help her, because he see that she was just exhausted. Like, she was really giving her all, and he knew that she was barely hanging on. Like, at any moment, he knew that she could probably just quit and wanted to quit, because it was hard. She ain't never been used to nothing like this, and she just like, why in the world, God, would you leave me here? Okay, seriously, why? I mean, I'm here like that, but she walked that thing out. I had to give it to Faith here. All that hard work, all that shoveling, and getting up early in the morning, being out there, because she stayed the whole time in town. She was in a hotel room, y'all, so she was not in a luxury place. She was just something that she could just kind of, you could tell, probably got her a good weekly rate. She ain't hanging out in the pool there. I don't even know, this kind of type of hotel. They look like they ain't even got a pool and none of that kind of other stuff. It just looked like it's just a room, okay? Just a room. And so I just love this, y'all. Forgive me. So this all is going on, right? The story, as the story is unfolding, you can see Faith getting stronger. She really is. And then she had this big moment, y'all, like in the midst of all of this, like as she started to get comfortable doing a lot of the farm work, when she started to have to work with the animals and work with the children, that was a bit more fearful for her, because y'all remember at the beginning of the film, the incident she had with the kid, like it just didn't go smooth, and she just felt like, you know, skeptical about that. She was very afraid of working with children and animals, but Bill was like, you know, adamant that she needs to start working with the children and animals. You know, she's gonna start being on like this, all right? And so she had an incident, a huge breakdown that really sent her running for cover, y'all. She packed up all her stuff. You know, Marsha was like, where you going, Faith? Like, come on. It was like it was just an accident. Nah, she was gone. Homegirl was gone. Packed up her stuff, cleared out her hotel room, went back home with her parents, and just, you know, broke down. It was like she was wrong. Maybe she didn't hear from God, all this kind of stuff. You gotta know how it is, because the journey of following God, it is never where it's just like cookie cutter. Like, it's just like smooth. No bumps in the road, no stumbling blocks. There's just always gonna be something, because that enemy is out there. He don't want you to follow God the way that he know is inside of you, that you can do it. Because if you heard from God, number one, right then and there, that lets you know you're different. You're chosen. You definitely don't roll like the others, okay? So he wants to knock you off your course and make you doubt that you even heard that voice to begin with. And that's what he was doing to Faith. You know, as the film is starting to, you know, as it got to the climax of it, you know, it was just like, and you felt so bad for her. I know I shed tears, because we all know how that feels. We all go on our different journeys, and we know how it feels when at the beginning you're excited when you hear from God and you all pumped up. Okay, nobody can't tell you nothing. You just ready to go, and then, oh my goodness, then time there. That's the issue, y'all. Time, okay, because God does not view time the way that we do. Us, it just seems like a lot of times a month can seem like years to us, okay? When you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, you working hard, and every day, day in and day out, that seemed like it seemed longer than what it really is. It really does. And that's what Faith was going through being on this farm. And then you have those moments, all this, you have those, I feel like when you right there, a lot of times that's when the enemy just steps in there, because he know, I don't know how he know, but he know, like that breakthrough is literally right there. If you just push a little bit more, just give it a little bit. And then usually it's right at that point when a lot of people just quit. They just like, it wasn't what it seemed, I was wrong or whatever, and you get stuck. And some people get even, and that's the horrible part, some people even get stuck in that place, okay? And so Faith, it was just like the moment in that film when she was having that moment, I felt like, okay, she may get, I hope she don't get stuck here. Like, please don't get stuck there. Go ahead, let your tears out. Sometimes you just gotta cry. Sometimes you can't hold everything in forever, okay? Sometimes you do have to just let stuff out, but get back up, girl, get back up. So going back home, I love that her parents took a total different turn, because at the beginning of this film I told y'all how doubtful they were, that she even heard from God. They were questioning her relationship with God, basically trying to tell her everything to dissuade her from, you know, leaving her home and going on this journey wherever she felt like she was supposed to go. And you wouldn't think when she came home that them same kind of parents probably be like, see, I told you, why would you even do that, girl? It's you just go ahead and get your job back, get your apartment back, and just, it'll be all right. It'll be all right, okay? It'll be all right, sugar. You know, that's what you would kind of expect them to say, but I love that they took a different turn. They really encouraged her, like, you obviously heard from God. Just going back there. You know, basically just picking her back up. Letting her know it's all right, okay? Everybody go through those seasons. Everybody have those moments. But, you know, that don't mean that you didn't hear from God. Go back. Get back on that horse. And keep on riding, girl. Get on there, okay? You can do it. You can do it, all right? I feel like her parents were more encouraging, you know, when she came home, because she proved to them that she really believed in this thing. And the fact that you got your baby girl here who never been the type just in church 24/7 and all that kind of stuff, and she's telling you that she heard from God, that is special. If you have a kid like that, I can imagine if I'm a parent, my kid tells me that they heard from God, I would feel special and honored, like, wow, you know, tell me about it. And I would definitely feel that, because come on now, we living in a time you don't hear nobody say that. You don't hear no kids saying that. And I mean, not that it ain't out there, I'm sure it is, but that's not the majority. So that is very, very special if anybody is saying something like that and taking that step of following God as well. You're just not sitting there in the corner saying, yeah, I heard from him, like a lot of people say they hear from God. And you look at their actions, you look at their fruit that they're bearing, it don't look like nothing. You don't even look like you know God. You don't even look like you believe in God, okay? So Faith did prove to her parents that she believed in this, that this is something different, because she packed her things and actually left. She was gone a minute, y'all. So I know that they were proud of her. I know that they felt compelled to comfort her and encourage her, because that was very, very special. And it took faith to do even that, okay? Because that's not what everybody do. So she does end up going back to the forum, y'all, and apologizing and just getting back, you know, taking those steps back, not only with that, the forum aspect of it all, her purpose, the way God had her and who was molding her, cultivating her for what she was about to step into later on, but also her and Marshall's relationship, because she didn't realize, I know she didn't realize how special she was to him, in a sense, because he has never met someone like her. She was special. He took her home to meet his big mama, and it was just like, wow. I know he was just like in love. This was his girl. I believe he knew that that was his wife, because the way that she came into his life and she stayed the course, he's like, this girl is for real. This is the real deal. This is what I've been waiting for. This is what came into my life. This is what I have found, or God have sent me. A man who finds a wife finds a good thing, you know. So we saw their relationship develop in such a pure way, because there wasn't like a lot of that affection and all of these different things that can kind of distract you, that kind of, you know, get in the way of what's really there. They didn't have that, all of that going on, which was nice. Their thing was very, very sweet, just holding hands, opening doors, going to church, you know, sharing just their deep innermost thoughts and feelings. And it was just, y'all, we just need more of this. Okay, if you're gonna do it right, do it God's way, because it's gonna turn out amazing. All right. And so this is how this story turned out. This was the beginning of something beautiful, because like I said, on Hope's journey, that is their baby girl. All right. So Marshall and Hope made it. Okay, they made it. And Faith did see, my God, and realize why God brought her here. It was more than what she thought it was. She got like icing on the cake. She had ice cream, well, icing on the cake, ice cream on the side, Sunday sprinkles, banana split, chocolate, all that kind of stuff. Y'all, she got it all right. And that is like the reward of following God's path here. So that, with all that being said, oh my goodness, I'm 30 minutes in, but whatever, y'all think y'all can stay in the course, all right? So with all that being said, here's the question, okay? Did Faith really hear from God? And I'm gonna have to say, yes, she did, y'all. She really did. Even though it wasn't, the path was not smooth. It was not smooth sailing like that. There were times when we felt like, just like Faith felt like, is this really it? God, did I really hear from you? Why did I ended up here? What I'm doing here? Is this, you know, you go through all of that. But I love that the director, writer, had made sure all of these aspects was there, because this is our journey. This is what we signed up for. You know, we have made that commitment to say we're gonna follow Christ, we're gonna believe him, we're gonna endure to the end, you know, no matter what. And I felt like the director laid out that journey perfectly clear for us. He let us know it's not gonna be easy, but that doesn't mean you can't do it. That doesn't mean that you didn't hear from God. Trust that voice, trust it. Spend enough time with God so you will know when that voice speaks to you, you would know and recognize that it is him, right? So with all that being said, we're gonna go ahead and get into our scripture for y'all for this evening. Y'all should be watching this in the evening, because that's when I'm starting. I think I'm gonna just start posting movie chats in the evening, so y'all can sit back, y'all snacks, popcorn, all that, family, friends, and just have a good chat, all right? I promise you, it will be encouraging. It will encourage you, all right? So we're coming out of 2 Corinthians 5:7. And y'all should have known. Y'all should have known this was coming. But we walk by faith, not by sight. That's all I have for y'all for this video. Please remember to leave y'all thoughts, prayers, and overall take in the comment section below, because y'all know I love hearing from y'all. And until next time, may the Lord bless and keep you both now and forevermore.